But one of the reasons that it has number 32 is the number on this car is because Chris Brown, C is the third letter of the alphabet and B is the second letter of the alphabet.
Wow.
So it's dedicated to him and his love for cars. He was one of the top Shelby Restorers.
Hey, it's Tom Gallaher and another edition of The Story Behind the Car, a 1965 Mustang Fastback. And we're with Mike. And Mike, you were saying that you did a total restoration, I guess it was a frame off with a rotisserie?
Well, and this being a unibody, it wasn't a frame off, but it's a rotisserie restoration. Yeah, it took 2 years to fully complete, from having it on a cart to then bringing it back to on the rotisserie to get everything done on the bottom correct, painted with the red oxide primer. Maybe you can see on some of the pictures he's taken there.
Yeah. And here I proved my ignorance when I said frame off.
No worries. It's frame off is a term everybody uses.
Well, I'm doing. I've got a '61 Chevy pickup truck, and we're doing a frame off on that. Yeah. I can't imagine what this must have cost.
Well, it was. The thing is I picked this car up with a really good friend of mine. His name was Chris Brown, and his shop is up in Louisiana, Missouri.
Yeah.
And we picked this car up. It was picked up on a Wednesday, put into one of his storage units, and we got a call on Sunday that he had passed away.
Oh,
he was
man.
only 54 years old, and he passed away in his sleep. And so it was a really sad time.
Yeah.
His son, Hunter, had been his number one guy at the shop for a long time. Hunter is an amazing painter, painted all kinds of cars, had write-ups from Barrett Jackson and everything on some of the paint jobs he's done. So Hunter wanted to do this car because his dad was real excited about it. So they did all the paint and body, and then there was a plethora of people who helped with it as far as the building process, myself and a few other people. But one of the reasons that it has number 32 is the number on this car is because Chris Brown, C is the third letter of the alphabet and B is the second letter of the alphabet.
Wow.
So it's dedicated to him and his love for cars. He was one of the top Shelby restorers in the world.
Holy cow. And I'm going to back up just so I can get, I was going to get you in it just so people know what you look like, Mike.
They don't.
This is amazing. And I was just about to ask you what the significance of the 32 was. And I asked you earlier about the bumper. I've never seen a painted bumper, and so you were explaining that to me.
Yeah, so this is with the R model front end. The R models in 65 did not have a rear bumper. They did that for weight.
Okay.
But to drive this on the street, you have to have a bumper. So we painted the bumper to make the paint and the stripes and everything flow and kind of give it that look.
Yes. And you got the tape on the headlights. I love it. That engine is amazing. Now, did you trailer it here?
No, I drove it here.
Did you really?
I live about 15 minutes from here.
Yeah, because the underneath is just so clean.
Well, when I get it home, I let it cool down, I clean everything, and then I get up underneath it. I have a lift at home, I get up underneath it, and I wipe down everything. Even the underneath side is ceramic coated, so it wipes down real easy with water. And
wow. And can we open the door, see
Certainly.
the inside?
Certainly. Got the old vintage racing helmet there.
Yeah. This is just off the hook. Now, have you shown it where it was judged?
Not, well, I showed it in Indianapolis. I have a 2020 GT350 Heritage Edition, which is the 55th anniversary of this car.
Okay.
And so I showed both of them there, and they will be doing an article for the Mustang Times. I think in December it's coming out.
Yes.
With both cars, photo shoot with both cars.
Yeah, I would love to know the points on this. I'm not a judge, but this thing is unbelievable.
Well, there's some things on this car that are different, being a tribute car.
And I'm going to back up just to show you while you're explaining it, if you don't mind, Mike.
There's some things on this car that are a little different than it's a tribute car. So what it is the dash and everything is the same. Radio delete plate. One of the interesting things, I don't know if you can see the little toggle switch beside the radio delete plate.
Sorry.
You're fine. Beside the radio delete plate in there. That
Yes.
toggle switch, when Shelby was building these in 65, they came out and they said, you have to have a horn in these cars. And he was like, I build race cars, I don't build cars with horns.
Yeah.
Because there's not one on the center. And so he was like, fine, so that's a toggle switch and that's your horn. It was only on 65 and they only made like a little over 500. And that was a toggle switch for the horn.
Really?
So You can see I did some different things in here. I've got the fire extinguisher back there because a lot of
Yeah.
shows you have to have a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Plus the look of it is good. So the motor on this normally is a 289.
Okay.
And it's a Windsor style block. So what I did with this, it's the same size as a 289, but it's a 347.
Okay.
It's a stroker motor in there. I put a Tremec TKX 5-speed in there. I can cruise down the highway at 80 mile an hour at about 2,200 RPMs that way.
Wow. But you still have the 289 badging. I saw that.
Right,
Yeah.
because that's more original.
Yeah.
And then also this car never would have had AC on it back then. I put AC on it, so my wife will go with me to
Yeah.
places. So yeah, just some different things like that.
And I see you got wheelwood brakes on it.
Yeah, put Willwood discs all the way around so it'll stop well.
Yeah.
And if you see on this tag here, this was one of the Shelby tags. What Shelby would do is they would put it over this VIN number here.
Okay.
And this became the VIN. So what it is I left this here being a tribute car and I made my own VIN. There was only 500 and some. So this though is 3213, 32 for Chris Brown,
Yeah.
13 for Mitch and Karen Mitchell, who were my really consultants on this, great
Okay.
friends of mine. And Mitch knows, he's an encyclopedia set of 65, 66 Mustang knowledge.
Yeah. I'm admiring the bolts with the washers.
Yep.
I recognize, I'm working on a Chevy, but I recognize that
Yep.
stuff. This is so impressive. Now the radiator, would that be similar to a stock radiator?
It is. It's an aftermarket radiator. What it is, the top though still has the stamp, so it looks close to original is what I
Yes.
wanted. I didn't want just a clear aluminum radiator.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-core, but it is a 1.25 inch tubes, which is the biggest tubes you can get in there. And it flows a lot of water that way, and it helps keep the temperature down with the AC and a bigger motor and things.
Yeah. That's one of the things that strikes against vehicles. I'll see a radiator that just doesn't look right. And they've got everything else right, and then
Right.
you see a radiator that sticks out, and that's a good-looking radiator.
Yeah, and it is an aluminum radiator, so it cools better.
Cool,
But
yeah.
we just painted it rally black like it would have been, and like with everything else under here.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Just amazing. And what drew you to the Mustang to begin with?
Well, I grew up in Ohio in a real small farm town, and my grandfather worked for Ford Motor Company in the machine shop in Lima, Ohio, in the engine plant over there.
Okay.
And my father was always a Ford guy. Everybody I knew was Ford people, and I just always loved Fords. And I never had the opportunity. I spent 21 years in the military, and moving around, you really don't get the opportunity to collect some things like this, especially as an enlisted guy. So after I retired from the military, and I started my second career, which I was very lucky in the career I have now. I was able to build something. I saw this car when I was 12 years old, and it was something that I wanted since I was 12. And I saw one in Detroit, Michigan at Cobo Hall.
And what is your career now?
I do project management
Okay.
for a firm here in St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, just an amazing example of a work of love. Wow.
It really is. There's such a great group of folks that have put their hands on this car to work on it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not me. It's a whole group of us, and I couldn't ask for better folks to have helped out with this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much, Mike, for showing us and then also telling us the story and the tribute to Chris Brown, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.